Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the right one. Or is it? I guess we'll find out. This is a new romantic comedy from writer-director Ken Mock, who had been a producer on Invincible, a producer on Joy, so he's been involved in some different things. He's writing and directing this film about this young woman played by Cleopatra Coleman, who's a writer, who meets this eccentric guy that keeps having all these different kinds of personas, whether he's like a suave Frenchman or he's like this cowboy country western singer kind of thing, or it's a sassy woman. And you have all these different personalities in this. Godfrey character is played by Nick Thune, and you have who Thune's been in different films like in small roles in like Knocked Up and Venom and Extract, and you have these two throughout the film developing a relationship as you would do in a romantic comedy. And I think the positives of the film is they have a lot of chemistry and a lot of fun in certain scenes, isolated scenes throughout the film, where I think if placed in a more well thought out and more well written kind of romantic comedy, really would have worked and would have hit a lot. The issue with this film is no matter how many of these scenes are fun in isolation, the whole crux of this is this man is dealing with some mental illness. But the messaging of the film is he doesn't need help. Don't stigmatize him and get him help. He doesn't need to talk to somebody. He's just grieving in the most profound way. And I'm just like, wait, what? And so this man obviously is dealing with a lot, has all these different personalities he's struggling with out of grief, apparently. And the film tries to tell you that there's nothing wrong with him. It's just something like he needs to grieve and let it all out and not get help. And that's the moral of the story. And you learn that throughout the film, and Coleman's character learns to be a better person through all of it by realizing that this man doesn't really need help and there's nothing really wrong with him. And the messaging of this film is enough to give us a really bad grade, because it sells some really problematic ideas and it doesn't really deal with mental illness in a very positive and constructive way. It kind of just writes it off and paints it in a way that's kind of hurtful and potentially problematic if this is the way that you see this. It's like mental illness can just be let go and go away without actually talking to somebody and trying to process things. Just let this person keep doing this thing. And everybody in this film is so manipulative. And even when they're supposed to be the good character, Coleman's character, she's very manipulative and problematic and forceful and doesn't respect boundaries. None of the characters in this film respect boundaries. And then you have her publisher played by Eliza Schlesinger, who just says some horrible things to her, has horrible perspectives, and just is intolerably cruel to Coleman's character. And then Coleman's character keeps doing things where you're just like, how could you? And there's no one really likable in the end in this film, and they deal with the themes of mental illness in such a poorly conceived way that it completely nullifies those fun romantic scenes that are just isolated in this film. Because you have his different personas, and each of these personas are doing different things with Coleman's character, and Thune does a really fine job of really committing to this performance with a bunch of different characters that he has to play, and they have some nice moments together. But in general, the themes of this film are so unsettling in many ways that it really takes the joy out of watching the film and rooting for this relationship to happen, because in the end, I think she's really problematic for him. And I don't think they should be together. And based off of how they're portrayed and the ideas that they each bring to this situation of his mental illness. And in the end, I feel like the right one is not a right choice here. not the best way to be going about these themes. They've definitely been done a lot better with a lot more respect than other films. But those are my thoughts on The Right One. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.